Well, talking about exciting street art and contemporary urban artworks, and artists are blossoming all around the world, from India to Tahiti, from Paris to Sao Paulo. But what about here in Africa? What is going on our doorstep? Well, Brett gets an inside look, or rather should we say an outside look at the case, at this inspiration, while finding out more about this year's Rotary Arts Festival.
Graffiti, or now more commonly known as street art, has taken the world by storm. With artists such as Banksy making a name for themselves, the influence has spread globally, even to our shores. But what does it take to make a piece of street art?
The Rotary Arts Festival is SA's biggest pop-up art gallery, and street artist Stefan Smith is representing a niche art form.
Talk to me about graffiti, or now street art. Wasn't it previously seen as like a negative rebel art form?
It used to be something that was always associated with like broken windows, vandalism and bad neighborhoods. But luckily these days, I think it's something that's associated more with like gentrification and uplifting neighborhoods.
I understand that there are certain walls around the city that are site-specific for street artists to work on. So how do you know which walls you're allowed to work on?
There are a couple of walls like that around. Sometimes what happens is you're able to then practice on those walls. I always prefer to get permission to do the paintings that I need to do, because that way you don't have to worry about doing things illegally and just take your time with the work that you need to do.
So what was the brief for this work?
For today's mural, what I had to do was make sure that I stayed in line with the theme that was chosen, and I was able to choose my own portrait that I wanted to paint. So I found an interesting looking woman that I thought would look beautiful on this wall and that I would enjoy painting.
So how do you go about creating this artwork? What techniques are you using?
There are a couple of ways of doing murals. Some people prefer using PVA, some people spray paint, but for today I'm going to be using spray paint for this mural. And speaking of which, I'd actually love your help with a certain section of it. So
I may just ruin this for you, but let's give it a try.
Let me get you some gloves quickly. Oh, before we start, I need to chat with you about can control quickly. If you put your finger on the nozzle and push really hard, a really thick stripe will come up. But that's a problem if you want to get detailing, like in the eye or the lips or something like that. So what we have to practice is being able to get a nice thin line, like so. And that comes down to can control, with how hard you press the nozzle.
So I'm left-handed, eh?
All right, that's cool. So try a thick one first for me.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. If you put your finger at the far end of the nozzle, you can press down really slowly and get a nice fine line. So if you're able to get these like really, really thin ones, you can then get some great detail on whatever you're trying to do.
So how did you get into street art?
It was something that I've always been fascinated with, actually, and then decided once with a friend of mine to go and grab some cans and just give it a try. And we ended up doing a mural that was about 2 stories high, I think, for one of our first pieces. So that was an interesting one to do, and definitely one of the things that inspired me to start doing this, because you can work really large, obviously.
So at this year's Rotary Arts Festival, can we expect a variety from street art, murals to oil paintings?
Oh, absolutely. That's actually one of the things that I love about the festival, is that there's such a diversity of different artists. There's charcoal, oil paint, acrylic, watercolor, to spray paint and photography. So there's pretty much something for everyone.
Wow, this looks beautiful. If you would like further inspiration, why not visit this year's Rotary Arts Festival? You could even mingle with artists such as Stefan Smith. Don't miss it.
How incredibly exciting. Now, this year's Rotary Arts Festival has everything from portraits to prints, landscapes to etchings, and multimedia to photography. It's all happening at the prestigious Hyde Park Corner until Sunday, the 11th of June. The centre will be transformed and come alive into one huge art gallery, a gallery for just 10 days. So definitely do not miss out. We're going to take a quick ad break. We'll be right back after this.